Drake Keeler of IX Basketball made an X post that read, Kurt Miller said he's already received more calls about potential trades for the number one pick in the upcoming draft than he did in the lead up to the 2025 draft. So teams
are already calling multiple GMs, and it's not about just any draft pick. They're focused on the number one overall selection in the 2026 WNBA draft. Dallas Wings GM Kurt Miller just revealed something fascinating. He's received more trade inquiries for this year's top pick than he did ahead of the last two drafts, and when he explained why, he name-dropped Caitlin Clark. That alone shows how franchise-altering players can reshape the entire calculus around draft assets. Here's what Miller actually said. When Indiana held the number one pick in 2024, nobody called. Why would they? Everyone knew Caitlin Clark was going first overall, and there was zero chance Indiana would trade it. Same story in 2025.
There was not going to be a trade. Paige was not going to be traded, but it will be interesting, and it makes our job fun to listen to those calls that come in for the number one pick, and we'll do what's best for our franchise. So teams are calling about the number one pick more so this year than in the past, because when the Indiana Fever got the number one pick, there was no point in you calling the Indiana Fever. They were never trading away the number one pick, which was Caitlin Clark. That pick.
When Dallas held the top pick, Paige Bueckers was the obvious choice, and Miller's phone stayed quiet. Now, teams are circling, because this draft lacks that one undeniable generational talent, and that uncertainty creates opportunity. The lottery results on November 23rd gave Dallas their second consecutive number one pick. They'll choose between UConn's Azzi Fudd, USC's Kiki Uriefin, UCLA's Lauren Betts, Notre Dame's Olivia Miles.
Look at this here. See, even in this mock draft, so there's a mock draft here on ESPN, right? And even in this mock draft, they have the Dallas Wings taking Azzi Fudd with the number one overall pick. Now, I do like Azzi Fudd. She has gotten better to me. I didn't know. She definitely started shooting the ball. I saw her shoot the ball off the dribble a little bit better. But for the most part, she's a catch and shoot, knockdown shoot.
And other top prospects. But here's what makes this year different. ESPN's mock draft already projects Dallas taking Azzi Fudd first overall. Makes sense. She's Paige Bueckers' former UConn teammate and girlfriend. Reuniting them in Dallas could spark instant chemistry and sell tickets. Fudd's shooting has improved this season, showing better off-the-dribble creation, though she's still mainly a catch-and-shoot specialist. Minnesota holds the number 2 pick and looks set to draft Kiki Uriefin. That roster, Nafisa Collier, Alana Smith, Courtney Williams, Kayla McBride, Bridget Carlton, is already among the league's strongest cores. Add Uriefin, a versatile forward who can score at all levels.
But I'm not like super sold on Azzi Fudd as the number one pick, but Dallas Wings, it makes sense. Our fam would make the most sense to me. Lauren Betts would make some. I'm not a Lauren Betts guy either, by the way. So, but I get it if they do it. You want to get a big, I get it. Me personally, I would go our fam over Lauren Betts any day of the week. I personally like Flau'jae more than Azzi Fudd, but it is.
And you have a potential championship contender. Seattle at 3 might pick Olivia Miles, pairing her with Jewel Lloyd to secure a point guard for the next decade. Washington at 4 may select Lauren Betts, a 7-foot center who dominates inside. But does she fit next to Aaliyah Edwards? Adding another traditional big might create spacing problems rather than solve them. Chicago at 5 could take Sonia Citron, but there's another wrinkle. Angel Reese. Her relationship with the Sky deteriorated after public comments, meaning the front office may no longer plan to build around her. Here's the intrigue. Multiple teams are calling Dallas about trading the number 1 pick. Who's calling, and what are they offering? Chicago makes sense. They have the 5th pick, and Angel Reese, a Rookie of the Year in 2024 with a fractured relationship. Packaging Reese with their pick to move up solves multiple issues.
You have to take her, but I don't love Lauren Betts next to Kiki Uriefin. And I like the other big they got. She wear the red hair sometime. Light-skinned chick with the tattoos. I just blanked on her name. My apologies. But she's nice. Um, but I mean, if Lauren Betts is there at 6'7", I guess you got to take her. Flau'jae, see, now the Chicago Sky have to get rid of Angel Reese. You can't bring in Flau'jae Johnson and still have Angel Reese when we know they don't really click like that anymore.
Dallas gets a proven young player plus a lottery pick. Chicago gets a fresh start with their prospect of choice. Minnesota could also make a move. If they prefer Azzi Fudd over Uriefin, they could offer Dallas future picks, a veteran, and the number 2 selection. Dallas moves down one spot, still gets an elite prospect, and gains assets for the future. Both teams benefit. This matters beyond draft positioning. The WNBA is expanding, and having multiple high-value assets, picks, or young players provides protection and flexibility during expansion drafts. Miller's Caitlin Clark comparison shows the difference between untouchable generational talent and tradable assets. Clark transformed Indiana's franchise value overnight. Bueckers has similar star power, though slightly lower. No 2026 prospect has Clark-level impact yet. Fudd is talented, but she doesn't bring the same attention.
Surprised if Chicago are trying to trade Angel Reese for the number 1 pick. The Chicago Sky are probably trying to pair Angel Reese and not this number 5 pick, but Angel Reese and another pick for the number 1 pick. Send Angel Reese to Dallas, get him another pick, or send Angel Reese at number 5 to Dallas, and you get the number 1 pick. Something, I don't know, but I think the Chicago Sky are definitely one of the teams putting in calls.
Uriefin, Betts, and Miles are skilled but not household names. That makes this pick tradable. Dallas already has Bueckers, so taking Fudd isn't essential. They can afford creative options. The WNBA has never seen this level of draft intrigue. Historically, top picks were taken or traded in minor moves. Now, front offices are bold, creative, and strategic. Miller mentioning Clark signals he understands the difference between untouchable stars and tradable assets. His phone is active, and he's listening. Clark's impact shows why some picks are untradeable. They change the economics of a franchise. Bueckers already drives ticket and merchandise sales, giving Dallas flexibility this year. Fudd or any 2026 prospect doesn't carry the same transformative effect yet, giving Dallas leverage. Dallas could take Fudd and create the Yukon reunion with strong marketing potential and a dynamic backcourt. Or they could trade the pick for multiple assets, accelerating a rebuild. The Chicago scenario remains most logical. Reese plus the 5th pick provides immediate impact and a lottery talent in return.
Try to get rid of Angel Reese. Here it says Toronto Tempo getting Tania Latson, Cody McMahon, Gianna Neepkins. Okay, they don't have that girl from Maryland in here no more. Good, because she stinks. Kiki Rice, I'm not sold. But this is very, very interesting here, man. Get down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this.
Minnesota could swap picks and gain assets for future flexibility. Expansion draft considerations make this even more relevant. Dallas has options and doesn't need to take Fudd. They're optimizing around Bueckers. Miller can field calls with real interest because they're not desperate. The next months will reveal which teams are serious. Chicago is compelling, Minnesota plausible. Washington could package moves to advance. The WNBA draft market is maturing. Front offices are bolder, more creative, and willing to negotiate trades. Generational talents are untouchable. Either way, the fact that we're even having this conversation shows how much the league has evolved. 3 years ago, nobody was making aggressive plays for top picks. Now teams are calling before the lottery balls even cool off. That's progress. That's front offices treating draft assets with the sophistication they deserve. What do you think Dallas should do? Everything else is negotiable. Will Dallas trade? Miller says they'll do what's best, meaning they'll take calls, evaluate offers, and choose based on value. If Chicago offers Reese plus pick 5, compelling. If Minnesota offers a future first to swap, worth considering. Otherwise, they'll take Fudd, market the Yukon reunion, and build an elite backcourt. One thing's clear, this draft is far more intriguing than expected.